Ah, la scène hip-hop québécoise est en train de blow up en ce moment, c'est très vrai, d'exploser, elle est en train d'exploser en ce moment et j'aime bien dire que je fais partie de la scène québécoise, tu vois, parce qu'on a deux scènes, on a la scène francophone et anglophone, mais en même temps j'écoute et ça m'inspire et c'est pourquoi je fais de la musique.
What's up, it's Nogar from Montrealocity. I'm standing here with the one, the only Lteez. How are you doing today?
What's up guys, it's your boy Lteez. I'm doing very well, it's a beautiful day, man.
It is.
Yeah.
Let's jump right into it, shall we?
Yes.
Can you start by saying a little bit about yourself, like who you are, where you're from, what are you all about?
Yeah, so my artist name is Lteez. I'm born in Paris actually. I moved to Montreal when I was 5. Born and raised on the plateau. My dad's from Algerian descent and my mom's Jamaican Chinese. And from Montreal. I got to go to Faith School, which is a fine arts school. In elementary, played a bit of a trombone, which was really cool. And just growing up in the city and all the culture and stuff really influenced me in all my music.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Cool. So how did you start making music? How did this passion come to be?
So I started, I was always into music. I'm lucky enough to have one of my close family members that work in music, and I got to grow up in festivals and backstage. I got to meet artists at a very young age, and I picked up the pen and paper when I was about maybe 14, and I started writing. It's a funny story because at that point I was in a group home for a couple of months because I was kind of a delinquent, and I used to write, you know, because you had to go to bed early and whatnot. And I remember I used to show my raps to the kids that were sleeping in the same room as me, and like, yo, that's pretty dope. And I remember once I showed one of the counselors I was working in the group home, and he's like, yo, that's really good. And since then I've been rapping since I was 14, and turning 23 now, so you know, it's been almost 9 years that I've been writing and making music. But music has always been a part of me. I listen to music on a daily basis, all types of music, you know, and yeah, so that's how it started. That's how I started rapping.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Did you grow up in Montreal?
Yeah, so I grew up in Montreal. More specifically, I grew up on the plateau. I lived on Montreal in Saint-Urbain my whole life, which is kind of like
And what are your thoughts on the city? Did you like growing up here?
I loved it. I'm so biased to this city actually. I'm lucky enough to have toured a bit in France. I played in front of Earth, Wind and Fire.
Wow.
I played in front of Black Star, which is Mos Def and Talib Kweli.
Wow.
That was a crazy show. That was like a 5,000 plus people show.
That's crazy.
The Earth, Wind and Fire was à l'Olympia de Paris, which is a mythical place. All the greats I played there, was like 2,000 people. I played in Portugal, and every time I come back, I'm just so happy to come back to Montreal. And you know, growing up in this city just has shaped me artistically, right? So from all the places like the jam sessions on Thursdays, Le Cypher, shout out to Le Cypher, and Urban Science, just this community of culture and art that we have in Montreal, I find is great. We have so many festivals. In summer, there's so much to do, right? Place des festivals, il y a le festival de jazz, les Francopholies, Just for Laughs, Oshiaga, you know, Pop Montréal, Meg Montréal, Mutec, and you know, so I was born into it, and every summer and every year I do my best to go check out all these places, and you know, even like the little galleries or all the museums, you know. So Montreal is a great hub and a great place for art, you know, and especially when it comes to like the greats. You know, when you talk about like Leonard Cohen,
yeah,
and
sure.
you know, people like Grime, and just so many people have came out of this city and have made such an impact. You know, Mordecai Richler, which is a great author, which I love his books. He grew up on the plateau too, right? And just it's I feel very connected to the art and to the city, and I try to reflect that in my music and in my lyrics as well.
Really cool, man.
Yeah. Thanks.
So speaking of all these people, what are your main influences? Maybe not only in music, and then also in music. Who are your influences?
So I like to expand my horizons on my influences and what I like, you know. So anything from film. I love film. I took a year of film in CJEP actually, so people like Stanley Kubrick, I love his stuff. Woody Allen, I love Woody Allen stuff. For writers, I love Leonard Cohen, his stuff. Jack Kerouac, I've been reading some of his books as well. Charles Bukowski. So these things are not necessarily your typical hip hop things that you might like, but I'm able to draw inspiration from anything that touches me, you know. And for music, I mean, I never got to study music like I wanted to, so I made it a decision on my own to go and look at the greats, to study the greats, to listen to their albums. I'm a huge influence with jazz, you know, obviously the classics of like John Coltrane, Miles Davis, you know, another guy from Montreal, Oscar Peterson, you know, great stuff and stuff like that. Or when it comes to soul music, maybe a bit of Otis Redding, James Brown, all that stuff. And you know, when it comes closer to hip hop, what really got me writing at a point in hip hop was these two albums. One was Stillmatic by Nas, which Ether's on there, and Lupe Fiasco. He was a huge influence at the time on me, and you know, Lupe Fiasco, Nas, obviously Eminem, Jay-Z, you know, his stuff like the Black Album, Reasonable Doubt, all those things like that. And yeah, so I'm able to draw inspiration and feelings from everything in my surroundings and all the other arts, and then I try to imply that in my music. Yeah.
Cool. Is it true that you should write what you know? They say this about movies. I assume they say that about music. And if so, how do you do that?
Write what you know. Yeah, I mean, write what you know for sure. Write what you are and write what you see. When I write, I don't necessarily, not all the time, pick like a specific topic, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna write about ABC and the song's gonna be about ABC. Sometimes through the instrumentals and the beat and the lyrics and the flow, I want to make you live an emotion. I want to make you feel something, then not always necessarily want to tell you something, because art is subjective, music is subjective, and through the music, I write what I know for sure and try to like transcend that to other people so they can live and feel what I'm trying to make them feel at the same time. Yeah.
Cool. What do you love most about making music?
I love the process. I love the process. You know, I know all rappers can agree to this. You know, when you would spend hours on YouTube looking for like type beats and stuff like that. You know, but then as you evolve, you meet producers and you get to work with them. And it's just the process of going to the studio, sitting down, and like even before we work on music, like you roll a joint, you smoke, you share some music. Like what I'm doing, what he's doing, and then when it all comes together, and then me taking the beat, doing some arrangements on it. My writing process is a bit different, so I need the beat to be done. I need the arrangements to be done, so I know how to flow, when to flow, if I want to sing a bit more. And you know, before I'll write a song, I'll go maybe walk around the city listening to the beat. Watch a classic movie, you know, maybe read some poems or something like that, and inspire myself from there, or maybe go to the museum before, you know, and draw some inspiration. And it's the process, it's the whole process. And then when you're writing it, and then go to the studio, you record it, then you send it out to get mixed, and then you send it out to get mastered, and then when you get the final version, it's this whole journey that you live through with the song, and that to me is the best, because that's when I feel me the most. You know, that's when I feel my whole, like all of me is when I go through this process, and I feel very close to this process, and I love it. And that's, you also have the like, oh, I like other people listening to it and getting the feedback, people saying it's good and performing and stuff like that. But for me, it's really the process of creating, being a creative, and having all these possibilities to do whatever you really want. Because you can do whatever you want with your art, and that's what I thrive on, is all the possibilities and the inspirations that I get.
Cool. For you, what is the greatest music era of all time?
Greatest music era. So I'm a nostalgic person. I'm super nostalgic. I would have to say the 60s. The 60s, because that was a hell of a time. You had the Vietnam War, you had the Civil Rights Movement, you had the death of John F. Kennedy, and all of that rose to beautiful music. You had Woodstock 69, Santana, you had Jimi Hendrix is one of my biggest influences coming out at that time. The Beatles, everything in jazz, Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Lee Morgan, Bill Evans, Otis Redding, Marvin Gaye. So I think the 60s really were where it's at, musically speaking, of the best times, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that was a really good answer.
Thanks.
What can we expect from you in the next few months? Any music?
So yeah, a lot of stuff. I got my first EP coming out October 19th. It's called the Half Full EP. I've been working on this EP for a minute now, and I'm happy that it's done, so I can get it out to the masses. So I got my EP October 19th. I got an Asian tour. I'm going next week actually, which is going to be, I got 3 shows in Tokyo, 1 show in Seoul in Korea, and one show in Busan. I am also going on another tour in Paris and in Rennes in France.
Okay.
And I'm shooting a music video in Tokyo as well for one of my songs. And I'm gonna have my release party on the 26th of October at Le Ministère. And all that stuff is gonna be online. I have a single out right now as well. It's called Hoodie Music. It's one of my singles to the Half Full EP. And just so much stuff coming out, the EP, the tours, the videos, and it's a really exciting moment for me right now.
Let me ask you, where do you hope your music will take you long term?
Long term, I want to be able to keep creating, but obviously to eat. I need to eat, I need to live. So the goal is to one day be able to live comfortably off making music and doing what I love. Being able to wake up in the morning, go to the studio, work on music, meet musicians, create, have jam sessions, and all in the while still being able to pay rent and eat and to have fun, So that's the dream, I would love the fame and the money, and whoever says that they don't is just lying to you flat out. But no, my goal is to be able to live comfortably while making music. That's what I would love, and for people to feel something off my music. To be able to reconnect, be like, oh well, I listened to Lteez's music, and that made me feel this or feel that, and that's what made me think about this, and that's the goal. That's the goal.
Cool. So let the camera know, what would you tell a 15-year-old you of an upcoming rapper who needs some inspiration and wants to make it as a rapper?
Lteez, keep at it. You got this, you got a long way to go, but this is what you love doing, so never stop no matter what. Anything that was gonna stop you in your way, push that aside, keep pushing, look forward, and you love music, and you are music, so keep doing that. Yeah.
Where can people find more of you?
You can find me on all streaming platforms. That's Tidal, Spotify.
We're even on Tidal.
Yeah, I'm even on Tidal, Spotify, iTunes Music. I got my YouTube channel. My SoundCloud is being done up right now. You can also go on my website. I got all my tour dates that are going to be on there. That's lteez.com. That's lteez.com.
Cool. Anything to add?
Man, not really. That, you know, shout out to my boy right here for the interviews. You're doing a great job, man.
Thank you,
keep
man.
up to putting on all the local artists, man.
Yeah.
And it's an honor to be here.
Hey man, thank you so much.
No
Your
problem,
answers are
bro.
very smart.
Thank you,
Like
bro.
not one time was I like, okay, this is bad.
I really appreciate
I
that.
really appreciate you coming out,
Yeah.
and I'd love to have you again.
Yes, sir. Alright.
Alright, this was Noah from Montrealocity. I was here with Lteez. I'll
your
catch you
boy.
guys next week. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Catch you
Lteez.
next week. Peace.